Good, happy Sunday evening, March 17, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, Forest Cities Land Edition, Road Upgrades, Volunteers. The caretakers of the White Mountain National Forest count among their 2018 accomplishments a land addition, investment in roads and trails, and support from volunteers. Officials say a highlight last year was adding nearly 800 acres, 325 hatcheries to the forest's boundary by securing a new tactic of land along the upper Amakuska River. The addition will provide public access to popular hiking trails. This was done in partnership with the Conservation Fund and New Hampshire towns of Stark and Malin. Forest officials say access to West Malin and Rocky Pond snowmobile trails, Unknown Pond Mill Brook, and the Kilkenny Ridge hiking trails are now protected. In its year in review report, forest officials said major investments in infrastructure continue to be emphasized, with over 100 miles, 161 kilometers of road being maintained to prevent erosion and provide critical public access. Nearly 500,000 was invested in new trail bridges on the Tuckerman Ravine Trail. The report notes that user fees and volunteers continue to provide crucial support for improving recreation opportunities. For example, nearly 31,000 volunteer hours were captured across various projects, and 200,000 of user fees were invested in constructing new safety railings at the Sabadora Falls. The report noted a volunteer group called the Granite Backcountry Alliance partnered with the forest to expand backcountry skiing opportunities and curb unauthorized ski trail creations. Other highlights included a 30-year special use permit with the Application Mountain Club to operate Camp Dodge as a training and volunteer center, and expansion of the Armed Force Conservation Corps group program to a year-round internship. Officials also are exploring ways to create pathways position for soldiers interested in working for the Forest Services. Man in custody after 3-hour standoff in Raymond. A 3-hour standoff at a home on Welch Lane ended when a SWAT team fired bean bag rounds to take a man into custody Saturday night. Raymond Police Lieutenant Chad said The incident began around 5 p.m. when the man's wife called police because she was concerned after he became intoxicated. Officers responded to the residence, but the man refused to come out for police, according to Raymond Police Lieutenant. The Southern New Hampshire Special Operations Unit, a regional SWAT team, was called in to assist with the incident. As the standoff continued, several residents gathered in the area of Paradise Drive because they were unable to get home as police blocked off the area. One resident who lives next door said she was evacuated from her home. Several shots were heard around 8 p.m., but Raymond Police Lieutenant said they were beanbag rounds used to take the man who was unarmed into custody. The man was transported by ambulance to a local hospital for a mental evaluation, Raymond Police Lieutenant said. The man, whose name was not released, is not facing charges, Raymond Police Lieutenant said. South Boston celebrates St. Patrick's Day with a 118th parade. The city of Boston celebrated St. Patrick's Day with the 118th South Boston Parade. Tens of thousands of people lined the streets for the annual parade, which began at 1 p.m. Sunday. Attendance could have possibly topped 1 million, as it has in years past. The first MBTA commuter rail train from Worcester brought a large crowd into the city. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker and Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito and Boston Mayor Marty Walsh all marched in the parade. Former UFC doubled champion and Dublin native Conor McGuire made an appearance in the parade. McGuire dropped the ceremonial puck before the Bruins' overtime victory against the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday night. Ireland's Cathedral Fire Badge also appeared in the parade. The parade kicked off on West Broadway at the Broadway MBTA station and continued left onto East Broadway, right onto P Street, right onto East 4th Street, left onto K Street, right onto East 5th Street, left onto G Street, and right onto Thomas Park, and right onto Telegraph Street, left onto Dorchester Street, and ended at Dorchester Avenue. Storm Team 5 forecasts sunny but chilly conditions was during the parade. Meteorologist Kelly Ann said the windy chill could make temperatures feel 8 degrees lower, but the weather should still feel relevantly mild in areas of sunlight. Boston police officers were on the parade route to assist the public with any safety concerns. Portland police investigating suspicious death. Man arrested and charged. Portland police say they have made an arrest in a suspicious death in Portland on Sunday. Gregory Vance, 61, of Portland, was arrested and charged with murder in connection with the death of a Portland woman. Police say the incident happened inside a building at 362 Cumberland Avenue and were on the scene around 10:45 Sunday morning. Police said there is no danger to the public. I'm angry at how close we came. Unresponsive trooper revived with Narcan after traffic stop. Taylor C. Woodward, 25, of Brandon, will appear in court in May on a misdemeanor possession of heroin charge. A Vermont state trooper was revived with Narcan after being exposed to the drug during a traffic stop in Lister. The Vermont State Police said Acting Sergeant Brett Flansburgh stopped a car on Lister Whiting Road late Friday night for a traffic violation. Police said that while interviewing the driver, Flansburgh saw the passenger swallowing something. The passenger, Tyler C. Woodward, 25, later admitted to Flansburgh that he had swallowed a bag of cocaine. During a search of the car, police found heroin in a bag, an empty plastic bag, and a syringe. Woodward was arrested on suspicion of possession of heroin. Police said Flansburgh started to feel sick while taking evidence to the New Haven barracks. Police said he called for help before collapsing in the parking lot of the barracks. Troopers administered 2 doses of Narcan to Flansburgh, who was unresponsive. He was given a 3rd dose on his way to the hospital. Police are still investigating, trying to determine exactly what Flansburgh was exposed to. Woodward is set to appear in Vermont Superior Court on May 6th on a misdemeanor heroin possession charge. Police said on Saturday Flansburgh is recovering. Jared and Ivanka have gone into self-service, author Kushner Inc. Let's listen to some of the video from ABC News.
Doctor have your best interest, but you have to take the initiative.
You have to feel comfortable talking about what's happening with you in order for the doctor to help you.
I would just practically stay at home. My symptoms changed pretty much all my plans.
Have been the subject of many leaks that I know not to be true, because they were based on things that it was professed that I had said or hadn't said, or situations I had been or not been in. So I tend not to pay too much attention to leaks and anonymous sourcing.
Ivanka Trump, speaking to Abby Huntsman of The View, may have more to deal with this week with the release of Kushner, Inc. Greed, Ambition, Corruption, The Extraordinary Story of Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. It's by investigative journalist Vicki Ward, who joins us now. There's the cover of the book. Your book is a tough take on Jared and Ivanka and their time in the White House. And Team Trump is fighting back very, very hard. I want to put up a statement from Peter Merjanian. He's a spokesperson for Jared Kushner's lawyer. He says, every point that Ms. Ward mentioned in what she called her fact-checking stage was entirely false. It seems she has written a work of fiction rather than a serious attempt to get at the facts. Brad Parscale, the campaign manager in 2020 for Trump, also says this book is a fantasy and simply a false narrative. Your response?
Well, I'd be curious if Brad Parscale has actually read it, because it's not out yet, George. It comes out on Tuesday. Look, Jared and Ivanka famously don't like it if people don't say great things about them. I wasn't expecting them to turn around and say, oh, she makes some good points. You know, I spent 2 years researching this. I interviewed 220 individual people, 118 of those multiple times. I recognize that the book does have a lot of anonymous sources, but I make it a point of principle when reporting to make sure that every seed has at least 2 sources. It's not just based on one person's recollection of events. It has to be double sourced. I mean, that's the only way you can really deal with anonymous sources.
How about their point on the fact-checking? The White House is maintaining that you didn't call Jared or Ivanka.
Okay, and there you go on some of that video from this week with George Stephanopoulos on the show today. If you want to watch this full video, we will share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. And that's it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night, everyone. Bye.